Hey, it's Gray. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, where you will find a variety of reviews from recipes to subscriptions and everything in between. Today we're talking about my most recent blog post, a review of the apple Dijon braised chicken thighs recipe by Ahead of Time. When I wrote this review, it was raining. When I'm recording this narration, it is raining. Talk about delightful fall weather. There's a chill in the air. It's the perfect time to be bundled up in a blanket with a warm drink, and that still stands today. Apples, especially baked apples, just scream cozy to me. So when I came across this recipe for apple Dijon braised chicken thighs, I simply had to give it a try. As always, I will make sure that the recipe is linked in the description below. Let's talk about the layers of flavor with braising. I absolutely love any recipe that calls for braising protein. It fills the home with a great aroma and ensures that the protein will be tender. When it comes to a braised meat recipe, this one can certainly be done during the week as it is chicken, so it doesn't take quite as long to get that desired tenderness. If it was beef or pork, I'd save it for a slow cooker or perhaps the weekend altogether. So because this is chicken, we can go ahead and make this any day of the week. This recipe starts off by prepping your chicken for a quick sear to brown it on each side. Once you get that desired color, you'll begin building up the flavor. My recommendation is to either have everything prepped from the start or get things sliced, diced, and grated while the chicken is cooking. Once the chicken is all done, you'll be able to get going with the next instructions. Onion, garlic, carrot, apple. That helps you get a good start for flavor. Then you add the potato, Dijon mustard, and soy sauce. Then you bring the chicken back into the party and you top it off with water? A few thoughts here. My final plate looked appealing, but I have to say it lacked something. I thought about it at first, had another taste, and I think it's salt. Unfortunately, the rich flavor I was hoping for just wasn't there, and I have to say it goes beyond just adding kosher salt into the mix. It was just missing something here. My main issue here was that the sauce was under-seasoned. Despite simmering on the stovetop and then in the oven for nearly an hour, when you'd get a spoonful, you'd have to get a bit of apple or carrot in order to get that delightful flavor. It was there, just not very well-rounded. I ended up adding in a Japanese barbecue sauce. It's on the thinner side with notes of soy sauce flavor, so it really helped enrich it for me. It just brought the flavor of the sauce to what I wanted it to be, but on its own, it just wasn't cutting it. So my recommended changes for this recipe. While this recipe for braised chicken thighs is very easy to make and it makes for a great dish that you can throw together for a weeknight meal, I would absolutely change a few things up. This recipe does not specify what potatoes to use, so I tried to follow the images and ended up using a russet potato. Next time I'd probably use the small yellow Dutch potatoes, or better yet, sweet potatoes for that added sweetness. I feel like that touch of sweetness could help the sauce overall. For the sauce, I'd probably add in a bit more soy sauce, and by a bit I mean like 1 more tablespoon, not more. Or even just some more salt and pepper, honestly. Season and taste along the way, because unfortunately the time in the oven did not enhance the flavor. Additionally, rather than using water, I'd swap in chicken broth. It's another layer of flavor, rather than just depending on water to embrace all the other ingredients. And in terms of cooking, I'd probably focus on getting the flavor of the sauce down first before adding the chicken back into the pan for the final cook in the oven. Once the pan is out of the oven, you can always taste the sauce for final seasoning as well as thickness. My overall grade is a 3.5 out of 5. I've been thinking about this recipe quite a bit. Still am. I have to admit it has not been my favorite this week. I've reviewed the steps I followed and yet it just didn't satisfy. Do I see its potential? Absolutely. I feel that the only thing that was missing from this recipe is seasoning, honestly, but I feel it goes beyond just salt and pepper. I would recommend that you give this recipe a try, as long as you remember to taste along the way and to consider changing the potato and maybe use chicken broth instead of just plain water. I truly think it will make a difference. Would I make this again? Certainly, I think the idea of chicken braised in an apple Dijon sauce makes sense, but it definitely needs to be heartier than it is just based off of following this recipe. What are some of your fall favorites to make? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, I hope you give the video a like and subscribe to the channel for more reviews coming up. Until next time, take care and stay gray-mazing.